Hello, it's Nikki. Welcome back. I am so delighted that you are here. Today is Monday. So today we are getting into the specifics of your goal. Over the years, over the last 15 years, I've been helping people to really make a plan to make their goal happen. I know that vision boards and great stationery and all of that great stuff are excellent and they are at our disposal. But equally, I know that you want results. I know that you want to stop talking about it and actually receive whatever it is that you want to be, do, have, and feel. So the first thing I want to notice is those sweeping statements that you are maybe making in your life, in your business, such as, I just want to be happier. I want more money. I want to feel more like me. And I really want to help you to get into what these statements mean to you. And I had a very palpable, visceral experience of this just before my 30th birthday. And during that year, we'd had a lot of death in the family. It'd been a really challenging, difficult time. And I was just about to begin my coach training. And yet I had no desire or no intention of becoming a coach. I happened to go on this weekend course just as part of my own self-development, really, to figure some things out. It was that kind of poignant time in my life. And by the end of that weekend, not only had I gained lots of stuff from having coaching, but secondly, I was on my way to paying quite a lot of money to become a coach and to open up this new career. And it still kind of blows my mind. And also it was such an example in my life of follow your gut. Everything in me was like, yep, it makes no sense on paper. You didn't even know about this 48 hours ago, but you know that this is the next right step for you. And what I had been struggling with in my 30s was trying to build this balance of life and business that I loved. And I was very much in a place and space where I felt like I was waiting. The internet wasn't what it was right now. We didn't have social media. And I really felt that I was at the beck and call of somebody else saying yes to me or being invited into something. And yet I am a proactive person, I'm a determined person, I'm a self-starter, all of those things. And I found it really difficult because what I was doing was I was scattering. I was spreading myself so thinly. I was trying to be all of the things. And there felt like no rhyme or reason to it. And I know that we read those autobiographies where it's like, I just happened to be in this pub in London Bridge and I met this person. And, you know, we've all heard those kind of stories. And yet I wanted that to actually be a thing. And I felt like I was pushing to make it happen. And then what I found was through the coaching, I could actually not only have that vision of what I wanted to be, do, have, and feel, but I could build a strategy. I could work on my identity. I could work on my daily habits. I could work on my limiting beliefs. And it was so interesting, that shift for me, because once I trusted the process, once I understood that I could be in charge, it just changed everything. So here's what I want to share with you today. 5 things to help you get into the specifics of your goal. Number 1, I want you to pick one goal for the purposes of this exercise. And I know already what that kind of brings up, like, but I don't know which one, and like, where would I even begin? And there's so many things that I want to do. Firstly, I want you to pick one to try on. And what that will do is that will ultimately give you the confidence and the clarity and the momentum to test this process. Meaning, if you are scattered, if you're trying to do all of the things, your focus is going to be displaced. So say you were watching an athlete or, the 100-meter sprint. If you are focused on one of those people, like really cheering them on, going, come on, you can win this, you can do this, and studying them and noticing them and really doing that, that's very different from trying to watch all of the 10 runners. And this is how I want you to see your goal. If you're trying to do all these things at once, and I know that people struggle to choose, your focus is going to be tricky. So for the time being, I want you to pick one. And I guess as part 2 of this number 1, I want you to think about what the 10 out of 10 version is of this. And the reason being is sometimes many of us don't actually know what we're striving for. We say random things like, I just want to make more money, I just want to be happier, I just want to have a bit more work-life balance. I want you to go deep here and ask yourself, what do I mean? What am I saying again and again? And give yourself that time and space to investigate. Now, I know already people might be thinking, well, I don't have time to do that. Like, I'm not going on a retreat to Bali anytime soon. No worries. We have to fit it in when we can fit it in. I know that Monday to Friday, I do the school run in the morning. I'm with my kids on the way, but I do know I have 15 minutes to play with on the way home. And if I calculated that Monday to Friday, that's an extra 75 minutes a week of working on my goal. So what could I do with that time? Could I ponder? I also know movement really works for me. So if I'm in that flow, what do I want to think about? What are the areas of my life that I need to get clearer on and ask some bigger questions? So the 10 out of 10, and I'm going to use a very simple example, might be you are a singer and you want to have a career like Adele. Great. Perfect. Go into detail with that. What does that mean? That maybe means global touring. That means #1 records. That might mean you want to write that kind of music. Brilliant. Go into all of the details. And doing this will give you an indication of where you are right now, and it will allow you to break down the steps. Number 2, how are you going to make this a priority and keep it a regular focus? I am here to tell you at nearly 43 years old, I rarely think things just happen or things just fall in our lap, completely unexpected. If you look at your last year, your last 6 months of the actions that you've taken, you are likely to have received what your actions have been based on. So for example, if you have an in-out, shake it all about response to exercise, for example, that's probably the response that you're going to feel in your body. Sometimes you're going to feel really good and like things are working. And then those times when you don't exercise, you might feel a bit below par. You might feel like not quite as vibrant as you would if you were exercising. So this daily priority, and I'm saying daily, even though again, you might think, well, I can't do this daily. Sometimes 5 minutes every day where you feel like you're just literally placing another tile in the mosaic, another brick in the building. That is so crucial for momentum, because even if it is just 5 minutes, you become the person who is working on this continuously, not who's like, well, I had 4 hours here, so I did loads and then I just left it for 6 months. You are continuously almost like going back to the fire, keeping it warm, keeping it doing what it needs to do. Number 3, I want you to think about what the plan looks like. So say, going back to the sing analogy, that is your 5-year plan. What does that look like between now and then? What do you need to do? I want you to break down all the steps. Now, not all of the steps will be predictable. And this is when the lovely stuff happens. When you're in flow, suddenly like somebody will say something, or you might get a meeting, or some kind of beautiful synchronicity might happen. Of course, we can't plan for all of those things, but there are lots of things that we can plan for right now. So maybe that's having regular singing lessons, carving out some time in your week to write songs, to think about, I don't know, who your competitors are, or booking in some live gigs to test some material. There are so many different things that you can do, but you have to go first. The plan isn't going to come to you. You have to start it. Number 4, the identity. Who do you have to be? How are you operating once you get to that 10 out of 10 version? Now, we've heard all these stories about celebrities over the years, haven't we? Of course we have, where often people are who they are. So who people were before they were famous or rich or whatever is the person that they are in the after. And this is really important. I think that sometimes we assume that we're going to become this brand new person, and actually we can start these things right now. So I want you to look at every area of your identity, how you are showing up, the language, the conversations that you're having, the way that you operate in email, how you show up to a meeting. Are you on time? Are you ready? Have you taken something seriously? Have you read something through properly? Have you got daily discipline? All of these things. I want you to come up with this now, not assume that it's going to happen later down the line. I really noticed this when we were in the process of moving into our house. This was a really long process for us. And yet, when I turned up to go and view this house for the first time, I viewed it like I was going to move into it. As in, like, I'm ready. I'm good to go. And that shift of saying, and of course, I was ready on one level. Of course, you never know what is actually going to be required of you. But I want you to notice if you're stepping up, or are you stuck in really, really old, outdated language that it's no longer relevant. I think sometimes we can do this, especially somebody of my particular age, is that we're holding on to something that somebody said to us when we were in our 20s, or something that somebody said when we were at school. And I was thinking about somebody that was quite mean to me at school a little while ago. And I was thinking that person hasn't actually known me for 28 years. They haven't had an interaction with me in 28 years. So why am I allowing that to take hold, to have a prominent place? It's not relevant. I want you to think about your identity here. Number 5, what is the additional, sorry about the sirens, what is the additional support that you need? Now, many of us, myself included, have such a, I can do this, I can make it happen, I'm determined, I can be all the things to all the people. I think we went the other way sometimes with women of my generation, that if we just felt like we had to prove a point the whole time. And actually, you can't do all of the things. Or maybe you're thinking, well, I can. But how would it feel to not do all the things? Let's play in that place. And what if there was somebody who could give you a shortcut, who could turn something round and show it from a different perspective, who could see things that you can't see, who could help you perhaps with your weak spots, those things that you find tricky, but for them, they just find it so easy. No problem. That can happen. It's all great. It's all groovy. In order to go to the places where you want to go, I want you to play in the possibility of receiving help. What would that look and feel like? And play in that place. I would love to know what landed for you today. If you want to book a strategy session, I would love to help and support you. If you want to make a plan, if you want to stop being in that place of thinking about it and talking about it to your pal, but never actually doing anything, that's what I specialize in. I can help you make it real, as in get into the specifics, but then make it happen. Do drop me a message or email me, hello@Nicky Raby. Do subscribe, all the great things, and I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Bye.